GOP's ongoing effort to undercut, defund, and destroy the law drew heavy fire at the hearing, and things took a turn for the dramatic when Democrat Bill Pascrell from New Jersey rose to defend the law from an onslaught of Republican attacks. This is Pascrell addressing the hypocrisy of the GOP's sabotage assault by reminding Republicans that when President George W. Bush expanded Medicaid, Democrats opposed it, but then worked to make it better, to improve it.
We lost the policy fight, and what did we do? We went back to our districts, and we told our seniors, although we voted no, we personally believe and will work with the Bush administration to make it work. That's what we did. And how many of you stood up to do that? None. Zero. Zero.
There are numerous proposals, including the one that I'm a co-sponsor of.
I yield back.
That deals with pre-existing conditions.
Let me take the time back. Are you serious? What you just said? Are you really serious? We've gone through 44 votes, 48 votes now of you trying to dismantle this legislation. You call that cooperation? I don't.
Well, Congressman Bill Pascrell joins us right now, along with Sam Stein, the Huffington Post. Congressman, you're the kind of guy I grew up with. You're a little bit, maybe slightly older than me, maybe slightly younger, but you were just like my father's friends in the Knights of Columbus. You speak regular English. You talk the talk. This clown show on the Republican side. 40 times they voted against the bill that the president had, and there's not a single Republican for 150,000 years that's had a health care plan. They don't have one. There's 40 million people sitting right now in the ER. They don't care about those people. Then the guy comes out, this Griffin character from Arkansas. You know where he stands? For nothing. I'm so glad you called him out. I'm sure he came up to you afterwards and said, how could you be so direct with me? Anyway, tell me what the reaction was to being direct for once with these people.
Some folks were surprised, Chris, that I yielded my time. We only had 3 minutes. But you know what? I like that. I knew where he was going. He had his sheet of paper in his hands. Where the hell was this 3 years ago, 2 years ago, 1 year ago? Yeah. He just signed on to that bill, by the way, 5 days ago. This is hypocrisy. This is hypocrisy at its worst. And I wish I had more than 3 minutes, but I'm going to defend what I think should be defended. You know, Chris, we talked way back when, 3 years ago, and I said to you there were some things in this I didn't like and some things that should have been in that weren't in there. But the thing is done. We voted for it. The Supreme Court supported it. And here we are. It's all over again. It's like repetition, repetition. I said, help us make it better.
You know, they remind me, Sam, of like Ben Brantley, the theater critic at the New York Times. He doesn't have a play to put on. He doesn't put anything out there for the public to look at. He just sits around and comes in on Monday morning and trashes something. Well, how come the Republicans get away with not being for anything at all for the working uninsured? And then they come off and they dance around, prance around, suggesting little nuances of concern they've had. What a joke. Your thoughts?
Well, let's stipulate for the time being that the rollout of the website has been pretty bad. But if you ask a Republican if they want it to be resolved quicker, they would say, of course, no. They're cheering on its failure. Same with the exchanges. The Republican governors did not expand, many of them did not expand, take on the responsibility of building a state-run exchange, putting the burden on the federal government. That doesn't excuse the federal government for botching the rollout. They should have done this. Dave Camp's right. They had 3 years to do this. But certainly there is an element of hypocrisy here from the Republicans who actively work to undermine this thing and now are cheering the fact that it's failing. So I think the congressman has a valid point.
Well, let me get back to the congressman. What do you think the people on that committee, on the other side of your committee, would like to see as the denouement, the end of this talk? Do they want a better bill? Do they want to revise it, reform it, or revise? What do they want to do? Reform it?
Chris, maybe I'm being naive about this, but I think there's still a good 25 to 40% on the Ways and Means Committee that want to see some kind of a breakthrough where they don't feel that they're being tied down if they say something nice about the ACA. And I asked today, in the very spot that you just showed, I stood and I said, which one of you are going to tell the parents when you condemn this thing and then destroy it, that your kids are no longer going to be covered with special needs? Your kids are no longer going to be covered because they have a precondition. Are you going to tell the parents? Or do you have the courage and the guts to do that? You're going to tell the seniors that they're no longer going to get a shot with that famous hole in the donut? when you're paying premiums but you're not getting benefits? Are you going to you're going to go back to the old way? None of you have the courage to do that. And until you do, things are not going to change around here. But what else do you need to know that we're not going away?
Let me go back to Sam on the analysis here. It seems to me that the congressman made a pretty good point there, that the Democrats didn't dance all over the grave of the prescription drug program. They nursed it along, even though it was W's plan. Is that a fair, positive statement by the congressman?
Yeah, no, it's absolutely true. If you look back at history, that's what happened. And I think at some point, some Republicans may recognize that President Obama is going to be in office through the 2016 elections into 2017, in that there's just simply no way that he will sign legislation that repeals his law or that cripples it until it's inoperable. So there is 2.5 more years here where they have to recognize that they have an opportunity to work within the confines of the law to make it better in their ideological vision. Or they can continue to do what they're doing. And I should recommend to the congressman, Democrats should have called this heritage care, not Obamacare. Maybe they would have been more reasonable in working with you on that then.
That's a very interesting and very important point.
Well, take a look at this, Congressman. 2 weeks ago, Speaker John Boehner brought the economy to the brink, of course, by taking us to the edge of a government default of the Affordable Care Act itself. Yet today he told reporters that the GOP's fight against the ACA, the American Affordable Care Act, is really about, get this, growing the economy. That's his concern. Let's take a listen.
Obamacare is like a wet blanket over our economy. American people are looking for more jobs, better wages, but with all the uncertainty around this law, employers are having a very difficult time making decisions. It's time to delay this. It's time to fix this before it gets any worse.
You know, Congressman, hold your ears, but I said a comment. I used a comment I don't usually use. What do these guys want Obama to do? And he's talking about a wet blanket. This president is out there killing our enemies the way W couldn't do it with all his rootin' tootin' gee whiz G.I. Joe talk. He let him go at Tora Bora. This president caught him and killed him. He also doubled the stock market to the point where today the Dow Jones, for the people with some money in their 401ks now, are going to all benefit from. And cut the deficit. When are these guys going to stop the complaining and the grousing and say, you know what, I'll give them that. I'll give them that. Just once a year say, what is it about your colleagues on the right that don't ever want to give an inch and even say, you know, he's not a bad guy, he's kind of a loner, but he's not a bad guy, he's a good husband, he's a good father. Just once in a while, throw him a bone. They don't do that. They hate him for some reason. What do you think of this? This doesn't help America,
Chris. It does not help America whatsoever. From the guy who led the troops into shutting down the government, which cost us billions and billions of dollars in jobs just a little while ago, Chris, and he's telling us about Obamacare. We've extended Medicare because of the Affordable Care Act. So just that in itself is something that we should all be proud of, both sides, all sides in this issue.
Let me jump in.
Well, Will Rogers is Will Rogers is standing right behind you, Congressman. The great American Will Rogers from Oklahoma. He would appreciate the Republicans' complete hypocrisy here. Last thought from you, Sam.
Yeah, no, I think, you know, the president is partially responsible for this meme because he did delay the business mandate in the Affordable Care Act, which was a recognition that businesses were uncertain about this. But if the problem here is uncertainty caused by Obamacare, then I don't think John Boehner has much of a leg to stand on, because as the congressman rightly said, it wasn't that long ago that we were at the brink of a debt default and we were in the midst of a government shutdown because of efforts to delay and defund Obamacare. So uncertainty is, you know, not something that Republicans appear to worry about all that seriously.
There's a difference between the guy who stops his car to fix a tire and the guy that runs the car off the road. Anyway, thank you, Bill Pascrell, the congressman of New Jersey.
Pleasure. I'm honored to be here.
Honored to have you. And Sam Stein, thank you so much for being up, as always, with your analysis.